Texas News, Texas.
Welcome to Texas News, and our topic of discussion for today is the Texas Revolution. And stay tuned to witness an exclusive interview with Sam Houston himself.
Attention, the following information is gathered from the following sources: Hill Middle School, Texas History Notes. All that's reserved.
Now that you've heard our sources, let's get into how the Texan Revolution started and what Texas is. So, before Texas has gained its independence from Mexico, there was a rebellion in Texas called the Fredonia Rebellion. The rebellion, which was led by Hayden Edwards, started when he was given a land grant to settle around 800 families. But when he got to his land, he found out that people were already living on his land. So Edwards decided to make them show titles to their land or to leave. The Mexican government didn't like Edwards' response and sided with the settlers. They then canceled Edwards' impresarial contract and ordered him to leave Texas. As a result, Hayden Edwards and his supporters declared themselves independent from Mexico and created the Fredonia Rebellion. They reached out to Stephen F. Austin to see if he would help them, but he sided with the Mexicans too. Edwards and his men then took over Fort Nacogdoches in the fight. However, when the Mexican army came, they realized that the rebellion fled into the U.S., but it confirmed the Mexicans' fear that the Texans were fighting back. After this, the Mexican government sent Mir Tehran to inspect the Texas settlements. He concluded that the Texans outnumbered the Mexicans 10-1. He then recommended the following: increase trade between Texas and Mexico, encourage settlements of Mexicans and Europeans in Texas, and to send troops to occupy Texas. But then, on April 6, 1830, Mexico created the Law of April 6. The goal of this law was to discourage immigration from the United States. But the Texans were furious about this law. But then Mexico made provisions to the Law of April 6. And here are all 6 of them. After these laws, something happened at Anecdote. It was called the Disturbance at Anecdote, and it was when the Texans fought against Colonel John Davis Bradburn over taxes on imported goods, taxing on supplies intended for the settlements, and not returning runaway slaves. But the Mexicans weren't done annoying the Texans, because they would implant the Turtle Bayou Resolutions, which required the settlers at Turtle Bayou to declare their loyalty to the Mexican Federalists and Santa Anna. But afterwards, in the conventions of 1832 and 1833, the delegates would meet to discuss the changes they wanted to see in the Mexican government, such as resume immigration from the U.S., Texans be exempt from import taxes, and separate statehood for Texas. But then, when Austin was in Mexico, he got arrested by Mexican officials. Here are the reasons that Austin got arrested. Austin was sent to deliver the requested changes from the conventions of 1833, and he was frustrated with Santa Anna because it had been delayed for months. So he wrote a letter that suggested the Texans create a temporary state government. Mexican officials, however, viewed it as a rebellion against Mexico, and he was imprisoned. After he got out, he believed that the Texans must seek independence rather than when he thought they shouldn't before the arrest. But when he knew that Santa Anna had become a dictator is when he threw out the Constitution of 1824 and he disbanded all state governments. But because of the Texans, the Mexican government sent General Martin Perfecto de Cos to deal with them. In fact, it caused the first battle of the Texas Revolution, the Battle of Gonzales. What happened was the Mexican army had attempted to seize a cannon from the people of Gonzales. They made a flag that said, "Come and take it," and they had fought to keep their cannon. This battle was known as the Lexington of Texas, and the Texans had won the battle. After this battle, the first real battle, which was the Siege of Bexar, was where the outnumbered Texans had